recently I had the incredible experience of going down to the Square Enix offices in LA and playing the new Final Fantasy VII Remake. And as a longtime fan of the series, trust me, I've been playing Final Fantasy games my entire life. Even as I'm recording this right now, I have Final Fantasy VIII, the remaster, paused on my PlayStation 4. As a longtime fan of the series, I can say I'm very happy with what I was playing. I was playing on a PS4 Pro. I wasn't playing this game on a supercomputer or like some really expensive gaming PC. I was playing it on a PS4 Pro, so it was nice to know that what I was playing was I was having the same experience that the consumers were going to have. And right off the bat, the first thing that caught my eye was the lighting. I was so impressed with the in-game lighting and the atmosphere. It really brought out the overall experience for me. Originally, I had seen this world through a polygon-like state and like a bird's eye view. There's only one camera angle, everyone's polygons. So it was so nice to see this whole world come to life, to see NPCs in the city, to be able to walk around the city, to be able to go inside the generators. It was phenomenal. There were times where I was just stopping to look at how beautiful fire looked in the game, or standing underneath a street lamp and seeing how the light would catch on my hair. I had such a great time. The game is rather linear, but if you think about it, it's a remake. The original game was linear too, so there's not going to be these big open world exploration areas, if you will, but that's not what you want from the game. It's a remake, and by all means it is it's the closest thing to the original that you can imagine, but just set in a 3D realm. I was very happy with it. The cutscenes, of course, look phenomenal because it's Square Enix, it's Final Fantasy. You're always going to get these phenomenal cutscenes. I had the privilege of being able to play the game in both English and Japanese, and I was very impressed with the English dub. I always lean towards the Japanese when I'm playing a JRPG, but I was very happy with the English. Barrett was hilarious, he cracked me up at times, the voice acting was great. Let's go into the game mechanics for a second here. So, if you've played any of the Kingdom Hearts games, you'll be more familiar with the gameplay that they have currently. So, for the most part, you're spamming the square button in order to fill up your ATB gauge. Your ATB gauge is your active time battle gauge. Each character has about 2 ATB gauges, allowing you to be able to do either 2 abilities or 2 spells or 2 items, however you want to take a look at it. The gauges do fill up on their own, but spamming square does help speed up the process. Now, just because you're spamming square doesn't mean that the game is going to be easy. You still have to block, you still have to dodge, you still have to evade, and you still have to strategize. But yeah, for the most part, so once you have your ATB gauges filled up, you're going to want to use your abilities, and the quickest way to do that, similar to Kingdom Hearts, is you're going to want to hold L1, and that changes your trigger commands. You hold L1 and you'll be able to click L1 in square or L1 in triangle. Being able to switch between all the characters freely, that's probably my favorite part. You use the D-pad and you can freely, seamlessly, if you will, switch between each character and you can strategize more. I found myself switching to Barrett quite often because I enjoyed the range abilities. I also, once later on in the game, I was able to play as Aerith, and oh my gosh, that was so much fun. Being able to play with Aerith was such a joy. There's a lot of RPG elements to the game, obviously, so they added they have the materia in the game, and the materia, you'll basically put the materia onto your character, and that'll give them certain buffs. It'll, like attack power buffs or magic defense buffs, and certain materia will also allow them to do certain spells. So the use of materia really is pivotal in this game. All the characters have different weapons, and the wonderful thing about this game being in 3D is that when you equip a different weapon, you can actually see it when you're walking around. It's on the character, it's different, you know? You're not getting the same polygon-like figure from the olden days. I'm sure you're all wondering, how do the summons work? Well, similar to the materia, you're going to want to put your summon materia onto each character. You're going to want to have different summons per character so that you have more choices, and they work the same way. There's a separate gauge for that. Once it gets filled up, I'm not too sure if it has to do with damage or time, but eventually you're able to use the summons, and you can summon, gosh, the summons are so much fun. They're very similar to Final Fantasy XV, but they're a lot smaller, obviously, because a lot of the time you're indoors or you're in dungeons. But the summons are still quite OP, very useful. They don't show up all the time, and they're so incredibly satisfying. The character models look gorgeous, very similar to the Final Fantasy XV models, with some tweaks to other summons, if you will. As a longtime fan of the series, you know, I was worried. I waited 4 years for this. I waited 4 years, and it was worth the wait. I can't wait to play the game from start to finish. I was able to play the Abzu boss fight, which was, oh, that was sick. I actually died a couple times, which I'm not the best gamer in the world, but I played it on, I think I played it on normal or hard, and I had so much fun. I fell in love with these characters as a kid, and I can't wait to see a whole new group of people do the exact same thing. Overall, I think it's a phenomenal game, and if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, pre-order it or buy it. I don't say that often about games. Usually I say wait and see, but this is one of those games that I highly recommend you should get. It's a great experience right out of the box, and you will not be disappointed.